Dear students, I am Sobha Pensiwal, Assistant Professor English, SPC Government College Bhim. Today I am going to explain the third stanza of the poem King Porus, a legend of old. Here the poet says, "But dauntlessly there stood King Porus, towering amidst the foe, like a Himalaya peak, with its eternal crown of snow, and on his brow did shine the jewelled regal diadem." In this battlefield, King Porus was standing like Himalayan peak. He was uh, head and shoulders above his enemies. He was looking bold and brave. He was looking more bold and brave uh, than his enemies, and he was appearing like a Himalayan peak, whose peak is covered with white snow. In the same way, the head was of King uh, Porus was covered with a crown. He was wearing a crown on his head, forehead. This crown was jeweled with many valuable stones. His milk white elephant was decked with many a brilliant gem, and he recked not of the phalanx that round him closed, but nobly fought, like like the angry winds that blow, and lofty mountain pines lay low. Amidst them dreadful havoc wrought, and thinned his crown and country's foe. And and uh, King Porus' elephant was white, and it was decorated with many valuable and brilliant gems. And just like the wind was flowing fiercely and rapidly, in the same way, King Porus was fighting bravely and fiercely. Just like fire's wind throws down mighty pine trees on high mountains. In the same way, um, King Porus was fighting this battle courageously, very boldly, bravely, and fiercely. And in this battle, he killed many warriors from the from the side of enemy, and thinned his ground and country's foe. And in this way, by killing the warriors of enemy forces, he thinned the number of the forces of King Porus, and he lessened the number of the enemies of uh, his country. The hardiest warrior, and at his deeds awe-struck, quailed like wind-shaken reeds. The hardiest warriors at his deeds, awe-struck, quailed like wind-shaken reeds, and the warriors on the side of uh, Alexander, who were very even the great warriors on the side of Alexander um, started to feel started to feel frightened, and they began to tremble, and they felt awe for King Porus when they saw the manner, the fierce manner in which King Porus was fighting the battle. They dared not look upon his face. They shrank from before his burning gaze. And these warriors on who were the warriors in the armies of Alexander did not have courage to look at King Porus, or they have no courage to face the blazing gaze in the eyes of uh, in the eyes of King Porus. For in his eyes, for in his eyes the hero shone, that feared not death, but high alone, a being as if of lightning made, that scourged all that is gazed upon, trampling the living with the dead. And in this in the eyes of King of Kanus, his bravery was being reflected. For in his eyes the hero shone that feared not death, and in his eyes, by looking into eyes, one can say that he was not he was not fearing of death. Means he was brave and bold, and he was not fearing death, but high alone, as being as if of lightning mad, and that scourged all that is gazed upon. And he was appearing like a eagle uh, who kills everything which it looks upon. And he was appearing like a bright lightning which destroy everything which which is looked upon by it, and trampling the living with the dead. In this way, he killed the warriors of the side of enemy, um, and lessened their number. The immortal Thunder's son, astonished eyed the heroic king. He saw him bravely charge, like his dread father, fulminating. Though thousands around him closed, he stood as stands the ocean rock amidst the flashing billows, uh, unmoved at the fire's thundering shock. But when the in this battle, Alexander saw King Porus, who was standing among. Uh, he was fighting um, among brave soldiers on the on in the forces of Alexander, and he was fighting this battle, and he was standing like a firm rock in this difficult situation. He was not losing heart. He was brave and bold, and he was standing like a rock. He means he was standing firm. He was firm in his faith, and he was like a rock which stands in middle of in uh, which stood which stands in sea, and and just like a rock is standing among in the sea, and all round it waves are flashing, waves are uh, raging fiercely. In the same way, all around him, the battle was being going on, and people were killing each other. Soldiers of both the armies, both the forces were killing each other. In this fierce battle, he was standing like a rock without being disheartened. And when the Emethian conqueror saw that with gaping wounds he bled, desist, desist, he cried. And when Alexander saw that this Emethian conqueror means when Alexander saw King Porus bleeding, and he saw wide uh, gaps or wounds on his body, he asked his soldiers to stop this war. Such noble blood should not be shed. He said to his soldiers that such noble blood of King Porus should not be shed. And then a herald was sent, where bleeding and faint stood amidst the dying and the dead. And he sent a messenger to King Porus, and he sent a messenger at the place where King Porus was standing, bleeding, and he was feeling faint. He stood amidst the dying and the dead, and he was standing among among he was standing there, and around him uh, people were dying, and some people had died in this battle. King Porus boldly and undismayed, hailed brave and warlike prince. uh, in this situation, King Porus stood bravely and and he was not feeling disappointed. Hail, brave, warlike prince! Thy generous rival beats the seas. Behold, there flies the flag that lulls dread war and wakens peace. And this messenger went to King Porus and told him he welcomed King Porus by addressing him as brave and warlike prince, and he informed him that Alexander wants this battle to be seized. He wants peace, and this messenger indicates towards the flag which is flowing uh, in the force of in the forces of Alexander, and which indicates the message of peace. Thank you. The rest of the stanzas will be explained in the next video. Thank you.